going to learn how to create an augmented matrix from a system of equations. The reason it's called augmented is that it's a matrix that has a little bit added on to it so that we can use it to solve systems. So let's take a system of equations. So we just barely were talking about systems and solutions to systems. So here's a system of equations that they're both linear equations written in standard form, right? As opposed to slope-intercept form. If we want to create an augmented matrix from that system of equations, we are going to just take the numbers and leave the variables off. So make sure your x's are lined up, make sure your y's are lined up, and make sure the other numbers are lined up because which column they're in tells us which variable they are. So this coefficient is a 3, that one's a 2, coefficient -4, coefficient -3. Now technically, since there's an equal sign here, these shouldn't all be in the same matrix, so that's why we do what we call an augmented matrix. We put a dotted line there to indicate that that's where the equal sign is, and then we have this augmented part of our matrix here. Okay, so part of your assignment today, you should be able to take a system of equations and write it as a matrix, or take a matrix and write it as a system of equations. Go backwards. Can you handle that? Do you need another example? Okay.
Is X always first?
Yeah, you always do the columns alphabetically. So make sure these are variables listed alphabetically. Okay? And that way you'll always know that X is first and Y is second because they're in alphabetical order. Okay. Now, the first method that we're learning today for solving, remember how I said we're learning 3 more methods. Today's is the hardest, next time's is a little easier, and then the next time's is a little easier. The last one that we learn in 2 days from now, we'll use calculators. Okay? The one that we use 1 day from now is a formula, so it's pretty straightforward. Plugging them in, get out the answers. Okay? The one we're doing today requires a little bit of creativity and puzzle solving skills. Problem solving, puzzle type of skills. Okay. So what we're doing today is solving by what's called Gaussian elimination. Gaussian is just named after the guy named Gauss that a lot of stuff in math is named after. And elimination means that it's a lot like the elimination method. Okay? I just realized something terrible. No, I just realized that when I set up an appointment for my daughter to meet her counselor at Hunter High at 11, thinking that 11 was during lunch. Okay. Another thing that it's called is row echelon form. Okay? So, solving by Gaussian elimination or row echelon form. Okay. So, what our goal is to take the augmented matrix that looks like this. Goal. Use row operations, which I'll tell you about in just a second, to make our augmented matrix look like this. And this is going to have a number that we don't know yet, and this is going to have a number that we don't know yet. And those are the solutions. Okay, so this will be the solution for x, so x will equal that number. And this answer will be the answer for y, so y will equal that number. Okay, and we need to have a diagonal of 1s. Now, sometimes you'll have some on your assignment that are 3x3s instead of, like you'll have X, Y, and Z instead. And when that happens, it'll be like that. And I guess you'll have your augmented part that I messed up drawing that. So that's if you did a 3x3 system. This is for a 2x2. Okay, I'll let that sink in. Sorry, let me just text my daughter. You did learn these? Yay!
Well, not this, not augmented.
Yeah. Yes. I think these are so fun. Okay. So there's 3 rules. 3 rules for your row operations. Here we go. Okay. The 3 rules are: you can trade any 2 rows. You can multiply any row by a non-zero number. And you can replace a row by adding rows together. So it kind of ends up like the elimination method, sort of. But instead of lining them up and adding just the equations, you're doing matrices that represent those equations instead. But it's sort of the same idea. Okay, the best way to do it is to just do an example. And I think, in my opinion, the best way to learn it is to just do an example and then just keep practicing. Okay. I think I'll stop at this point.